A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak and Lube on yet another beautiful autumn day here in Happy Valley. Lots to get into today, even though Penn State has the bye week. We'll have a special guest coming on in the 3 o'clock hour this afternoon. We'll certainly talk some college football, talk some NFL action. The NFL weekend starts with a good one tonight.
Yeah.
And we will have that game for you on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox here in Center County, with the Buffalo Bills traveling to the Miami Dolphins. Our coverage will get underway at 7:30 this evening. And again, Penn State with the bye week, so no game for the Nittany Lions on Saturday. Penn State will then host Kent State a week from Saturday. We now know that will be a 3:30 kickoff at Beaver Stadium, which I think for me, that's my favorite time for the kickoff. Still lets me get to bed at my normal bedtime of 9 o'clock and gives you plenty of time to tailgate nonetheless before and after the game, if you so choose. But you're not quite rushing up there. It's a little easier, usually traffic-wise, too. It's just spread out, obviously. There will be some people that will show up closer to kickoff, but some that will still get there right at the start of the morning. But obviously, a lot of people that will trickle in just throughout. Just makes that part of the traffic.
It's not so congested
for sure.
Going in, yeah.
Now, and I suspect with this one
anybody.
going out will be much the same, because there will be people leaving at halftime and throughout.
Hopefully.
This one I'm much more
we're
confident.
pretty confident on this one.
Yes. Kent State, if you don't know, is, still a MAC team, just like Bowling Green, just like Northern Illinois, except not just like those teams. Think like Northern Illinois, relative in the MAC, like Ohio State. Think Bowling Green, maybe like Penn State. That type of thing, and relatively speaking, in the MAC. And then think more like Indiana. When you think Kent State, historically.
Yep.
I know Indiana has high expectations. Maybe that'll turn out to be a poor example for this year. Although it's going to be interesting to see. That is, we keep talking about the storylines in the Big Ten. Frank Signetti and Indiana are definitely one of the storylines to watch. But we'll delve into the college football scene, some of the NFL action. By the way, here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox, we will have both the Steelers game on Sunday at Denver and the Eagles game on Monday night against the Atlanta Falcons for you. So the Steelers will be part of our triple header
feed
coverage on Sunday. And the Eagles will be part of the Monday night coverage, of course, against the Falcons on Monday night. Our NFL feed.
The NFL affiliates? It's not like the TV feed, right, or anything like that?
No.
So would it be the radio
It'll
network?
Be the radio, yep.
Okay, because I know Brandon's doing a couple games this year, so we'll talk about all that later. But I do want to announce that after the Kent State game and every home game, there will be a tailgate at Spike Stadium hosted by LeVar Arrington and other players as a fundraiser for the NIL stuff. So a lot of people there last week. Went off rather well. Everybody's approachable, all of that stuff. So if anybody wants to go get a few autographs and talk to some players and I do want to report the guy that can come back here and just stand next to LeVar Arrington, and you don't realize how big of a man he is. I mean, he is every bit of 6'5". And that to play the inside linebacker, outside linebacker position that he played at the speed he played it is just still mind-blowing. Because he's a bigger version of Micah.
Yeah,
I don't think Mike is anywhere near the size that LeVar was. Do you? The pads not changed though.
Not height wise for sure.
No, not height wise, but like. I mean, I think LeVar was pushing that probably 240.
Yeah,
and running. But Micah, is he?
now he's
he put a little bit more weight on because he's playing downtown, down on the hand in the dirt a little bit more. So I guess you got to put some more pounds on. But yeah, post game, if you got a couple minutes, go in there, stop by. It's a donation towards the NIL, and you get to hang out with some guys, have some food, some booze, and hang out with some old NFL guys.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. He is a really approachable guy. I mean, honest to God, I mentioned that to him when he was at the Spike Stadium this year. Because there's a guy, I mean, I've been around enough people that, like it's a guy like LeVar Arrington is so recognizable, or like from the whole country.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, guys can walk around and, Kijana Carter can walk around and be like, I know that's somebody. But I feel like LeVar, like, crossed over to that, like, mainstream. Like, he's like a Saquon type. I believe he's a Saquon type with notoriety and stuff like that, and how visible he is. And I told LeVar, I said, there's a guy who could actually be very standoffish and defensive with people and stuff like that. And I said to him, I said, you know what?
He could be like you normally are.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, that's how I am.
You're always just pushing people away.
Yep.
Let me be alone.
Absolutely. I'm the goon, and the reason they call me that. So, no, but I told him that. I said, it's a great trait to have. And he goes, he learned that from his father. He said, you treat him because you don't know. It's a great analogy. You don't know who that person is and how far those first impressions go. I mean, it's enormous.
No doubt.
Yep.
No doubt about it. It's a huge difference maker. And sometimes that is hard for people to understand or really appreciate, especially when you're kind of emerging as a star or recognizable figure, and you have that fame and you're not used to it. But yeah, the goodwill that you can engender for obviously yourself, but also for whatever organization or group you're representing, it is not insignificant. And people remember, we talk about it all the time, and it's not fair, but if somebody, and it could be they just are having a bad day, or they really have something they have to take care of and they don't have time. But when you personally have an interaction with somebody of fame, or for that matter, anything, it's like, oh man, that guy was a jerk to me.
Yep. Well, look at how I talk about Mike Schmidt.
Yeah. And, and again, you want to be able to, as much as you can. Now, I will say
there are times when it's just like, you know what?
Yes.
Oh, by the way, I saw a Don Rickles thing the other day on the Johnny Carson show, and Sinatra's telling the story, and he used those two were great friends. So he said, Sinatra's like, well, Don comes up to me and says, hey, Frank, I'm really trying to impress this girl tonight at dinner. You mind stopping by the table and stuff like that? He's like, I'll take care of you. So Frank Sinatra walks over to Don Rickles' table with this woman, and he's like, hey, Don, what's going on? Don looks up, he goes, Frank, I'm eating here. Come on, get out of here. And he kicks Frank Sinatra out of the table. And Frank, it's just so funny. Very, very funny.
That's good.
But like I say I was literally telling this story last night about like Mike Schmidt. Like, okay, it was a bad day for you, Mike. Okay, I get it. But you're at a little league banquet.
Yeah.
What did you expect was going to happen? Kids are going to ask for autographs. Did you not think that was going to happen? Like, I just don't. I'll never understand. I'll never want to
make that obviously a great experience.
Why would you say yes?
Right.
Like, why would you say yes? I'll gladly come speak to you at your event for Little League baseball players that are 11, 12-year-old boys, a couple girls, but I'm not going to sign autographs.
Yes, I hear you.
I think he invented that night was the line "Read the Room" was invented for Mike Schmidt. Hey, Mikey, read the room.
Yeah.
You got 111 12-year-old kids here.
Penn State loves LeVar. Rich writes, that is true, but I will say LeVar, the to your point, Goon, the love for LeVar goes, certainly Nittany Nation loves him. You'd expect that. But when you hear stories about him with the two pros and a cup of Joe that airs on our station from 6 to 8 or 6 to 9 Eastern time on Fox Sports,
he's very good.
He is very good, but he is one of those people that at Penn State people will flock to him. Anywhere he goes, though, he is a known quantity, and as you said, he's approachable, and I think therefore is really well liked even among opposing fan bases and just, again, the public.
He comes off as approachable, but he's also 6'5" with shoulders as wide as mine. So people are like, they're more like, okay, I know who that is. That's LeVar Arrington. Oh my God.
Yep.
And he's approachable, and he's very, very nice to people and stuff like that. And his show is very good. I like that show in the morning.
It is. It's a fun listen. If you've not had the chance, it is. What I like to say about it, and really it's kind of across the board with Fox Sports, it is not a formulaic show, meaning, which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, just not, I much prefer the, hey, let's see, kind of like we do. We have no idea where their show is going to go. Sometimes we're like, all right, we want to get this in, or we want to touch this topic.
There's nothing.
But every now and then, this is hard to believe, we'll get into stuff that was not planned on being discussed.
This show is brought to you by ADD.
That show does a great job, though, of they play off of each other. It's real life experiences. Yeah, they're talking sports, but man, they get into a lot of other stuff. Just as most sports fans, like you'll sit around the bar and you're talking about the game, but while we're at it, what are you're eating salad? Dude, what are you eating salad? Try this wing. How hot is this wing? Like, you get into all kinds of other topics, subjects, and they do a great job of just being a spontaneous show while and having fun while also giving you some pretty good insight and good information.
It's a locker room.
Yeah,
that's what goes on in the locker room. It's just like a bunch of guys sitting there. It's so funny because I was telling you where I was at last night. I was down at the Lock Haven Wrestling guys who got inducted. We went to a dinner last night with them, and it was just, that's what everybody misses. They miss the camaraderie in the locker room. I mean, because I was talking on the show Monday to Landon Tangwell, about him having to give up football because of his concussions and this and that. And we were talking and I said what I always say on this show, and that is, football is the only sport that somebody tells you when you're done, you're done. Whether that be in high school, college, or the NFL. Someone's going to say, you're not good enough to make the high school team, the college team, or the NFL. And then it's not like you can play football, pick up football with your buddies on a Saturday afternoon. There are other leagues and stuff, but we're not going to go play in them out of fear of getting hurt and stuff like that. But football is the only sport that you can not play anymore. And that is what a lot of guys, and specifically me and Landon, were talking about that. And that is like, yeah, there is a depression that sets in. They're like, wow, I wasn't good enough. And then it's the injury thing. And then that's the weird thing about his head injury is the concussions. Like, physically, he feels great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be the weirdest part. I know when I was hurt, my neck was done, and I couldn't lift my arm I couldn't lift my shoulder. I knew I was done. I could feel why I was done.
Right.
Him, it is a concussion issue, and they're getting worse and worse, and they were lasting longer and longer. So he made the right decision in medically retiring. That's
for sure.
That is like one of those things that you don't really notice. Like, okay, I think I could still play right now, and you're one hit away from severe brain damage. And that's scary to even think about, but that's what we were talking about, and that is like the depression that you go through when somebody. I mean, again, it could happen at the high school level, it could happen at the college level, it could happen in the NFL level. I mean, somebody tells you when you're done playing football, and you're done, and that's what people miss. They miss the most. I guess the best. I mean, I'm just ranting right now, but the best thing I ever heard about Penn State football was this. And they say, would you do it again? And every one of us says, absolutely. Would you do it for NIL? I wouldn't do it. I don't care about the NIL. Like, yeah, it's great if that was to be a byproduct. But I remember like working out in the summertime. And this is what people don't realize what we're doing in the off season. You're still working out 30 hours a week, probably. These guys now are meeting and stuff like that.
Yep.
But then we would be working out, and then we are in the shadow of Beaver Stadium. And you just say to yourself, I am doing this. I'm busting my butt. I'm getting myself in the best possible shape for 7 Saturdays up in that field. That's all you're doing. And that's what you got to think about is like, I'm doing all of this just to be up there. But that's 12 times a year you're doing that. But you're still with the same guys 365 days. And you just love talking football, being around football, lifting, running together, sweating and all that stuff together. So.
Yeah, the camaraderie is very special.
Yep. And it's
something I think with any athletic team, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
At whatever level, I still have. I mean, it's again somebody that never played varsity
But you
level,
still have it,
collegiately, or anything beyond. The two, like I love playing high school football and have great memories, and we were so, but played with some very good players and still stay in touch with a lot of them. But the other thing for me, and again, it's going to depend what level you stop playing at. But we were and now I forget if it was, I think it was our 6th grade summer, but either 5th or 6th grade. We our little league baseball team went from worst to first from one year to the next. And we won and it was the like Little League B League championship. But that team, and it was all neighborhood buddies with, we were all within several streets of each other. And that season was just so much fun. And again, I still there are certain things that I still remember about. We went to most of the team, maybe all of the team. I don't remember the specifics of that now, but we went to. I'll tell you a funny story on this. See how we go off track?
Yep.
So we went to a drive-in movie as a little league team. Most of the parents,
probably remember what you saw.
Most of the kiddos. Well, I know exactly what I saw, and that's where I'm going with the story, because I'm like, well, you got to see it. And I hadn't seen it. I don't know if I'd seen it since we saw it. So Gus the Kicking Mule came out one of those summers.
The Disney movie?
Yes. And we loved it. Like, as a kid at the time, and again, we're probably 10, 11 years old. And obviously we don't have the movie expertise and the I'm sure they could do a much better job of making it look like an actual mule kicking the football. My memory of it was pretty good. Well, we watched it on, I don't even know how we found it, on one of the things that you can find it on.
Yep.
And we got about halfway through it. Both Marissa and Reggie come looking at me like, what are you doing? And even I'm like, this isn't. It was much more fun when I was a kid and we were watching it at a drive-in theater and didn't know all of the
I've got a great drive-in story.
The CGI and stuff that we have today.
I got a great. It's PG. Trust me, because there's a lot of. I mean, I don't think I've ever been to a drive, but one time. I'm trying to think.
Really?
When I was growing up, they had a couple.
Times.
There was one at the 309, but by the time I was old enough to go to movies on my own and it was like a Friday night for all your buddies and stuff like that. But that wasn't a drive-thru because we couldn't drive then. And by the time I was 16, that was 88, 89. Drive-ins were pretty much defunct by then. So 1978, my mom and dad's friend decided to take all the kids to go see Jaws 2.
Oh,
that's great to see for a 5-year-old.
Absolutely, good stuff.
And then,
no trouble sleeping after watching that.
We had the 8th ocean in the world in our backyard. That was our vacation. So my father, when we bought the house in the early 70s, my father said, "Okay, we're not going to be able to afford to take 8 kids on vacation every year." So he put a nice pool in our backyard, and that was our vacation. So the guy who took us to see Jaws in 1970, I think it was 78 when Jaws 2 came out. He decides to buy not an inflatable, but a toy shark, and throws it in the pool when all the little kids are in the pool after the day after not sleeping because he had taken us to see Jaws 2.
Man.
And he throws us in the pool, and my mom looks at him and she's like, "What is wrong with you? Like, Bob, what are you thinking? I'm telling you, to this day, Jeff, I am going to the beach next week. Guess who will not go into the ocean? To this day, I am petrified of sharks in the ocean. Petrified because of that. That's how you traumatize a young kid there.
That is a pretty good way to do it.
Go watch Jaws 2 of people the shark just eating the crap out of people, and then all of a sudden, hey, now you want to go in the ocean? I'm not going to the ocean. I'll be in the pool. I'll be over here, honey. You guys have fun at the beach. I'll listen for you. I'll crack a cold beer for you. But yeah, 5 and 6 years old, and I wasn't even the youngest. My younger brother was there. He was like 3 or 4. And he doesn't remember it, but I mean that when he threw that thing in the pool, oh my God, we jumped out of the water by being submerged. It was unbelievable how fast we got out of that pool. And this guy was laughing, and my mom was furious. Bob, what do you think? What did you think was going to happen? Because he was like, I didn't know I was going to have this reaction. What do you think was going to happen? You just showed these people getting eaten by sharks last time, and then you throw a baby shark or a toy shark into the pool.
Different times.
Oh yeah.
Different
You'd
times.
You'd have assault charges against you nowadays. Jeez.
Yeah, that's.
So what were some of the movies you saw? I mean, I think was the drive-in open when I was in school here?
The one down here off of College, probably. I'm trying to remember. I got to tell you, the years start to run together more and more for me. But I feel like that didn't close until, I don't know.
It's just funny to me because I was talking to a woman yesterday. She was talking about drive-thrus. And she says, well, there's none here anymore. There's one in Lock Haven and there's one in Phillipsburg, 40 minutes each way.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay.
But it was, we would go, I mean, not frequently, but it wasn't uncommon over the summer. Like when I was in high school, there would be different nights where different.
You graduated high school 86 or 7, right?
87 from State.
So you're a sophomore in 1984, and that was like a high time for movies. I mean, there's like 15 bangers, and the music that was out in the 80s, and oh my Lord.
Yeah.
That's the classic stuff that you still listen to and you're still watching those movies. So I have another drive-through story.
Like Gus the Kicking Mule, though, I'm telling you.
Didn't Tony Danza remake that as a trash man kicking for the Eagles? I have another drive-in story, and that is that I'm not a big scary movie fan. Actually, I'm petrified of them. The music even scares me.
Yeah.
I blame my older sister for making me watch Carrie as a child. And that hand came out of the ground and grabbed that woman and this and that. And I completely freaked out and been scared of my forever about that type of stuff. And she's making us watch it. And what's funny is I married a Carrie.
Yep.
It's right. So I'm laying in bed sleeping. I wake up in the middle of the night and I look on the television and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? And I'm trying to find a remote. The Shining was on with the little boy and the little girl coming down the hallway. And they're just terrifying, right?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, just
psychologically.
And then all of a sudden, it just and it was the movie Twister that I had put on before I fell asleep, and it was the scene where the Twister came through the drive-through. Yeah. And that's what they were showing was The Shining. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I thought The Shining was on in my room, and I was like freaking out. And then all of a sudden, it gets blown away. I'm like, oh, okay, it's Twister. All right, I'm better. I'm better. And then I started screaming, red rum, red rum, red rum, red rum.
We'll take a break here. We'll talk some. Let's talk some Pirates and Phillies when we come back.
Magic numbers 9.
Throw in a little.
I don't know what the Pirates are going to make their. Are they going to make their?
They're not going to make anything. Are they going to make their what?
Well, the 75 wins or whatever their number was.
I don't.
I got to go back and talk to look up Alan.
I guess they could.
Man, he was talking mad smack those first 3 months of that season. Holy crap.
They're not making the playoffs. We know that. We will take a break here, a little baseball talk here on a Thursday afternoon as we continue. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are at Quaker Steak and Lube, the place to be. If you are a sports fan, come on down, watch all of the football, baseball, and other sports action on the TVs down here. Enjoy some great food and beverage and appreciate the great wait staff they have here at the Lube. Again, we're right back with more on a Thursday here on Sports Radio 98.7. The Fox.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, to Quaker Steak Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen Baker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen Baker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen Baker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going. 98.7 The Fox, the Goon and Ironhead.
We are back here on a Thursday afternoon, and yeah, it's football season, but Pirates are playing out the string, but doing so kind of effectively. Sweep of the Miami/Florida Marlins, and the Buccos. It's interesting. Anytime your organization isn't living up to whatever expectations are there, right? And any sport, any level, like the coaches immediately where you look at, and the GM. But to me, it is so clear in the Pirates case, and I'm not saying Derek Shelton is the world's greatest manager, certainly not saying Ben Cherington is the world's greatest GM, but neither of them are where you can put whatever manager, whoever you think is the greatest manager and whoever you think is the best GM. If you have an ownership group that is not willing to spend money, you don't need to spend willy-nilly, but to on known commodities and make moves that are at least going to put you in some sort of contention, well, then it ultimately doesn't matter. And the Pirates just don't, until the Nutting family sells it, or unless the Nutting family sells it. Again, could they make a run, and could they even get a break or two and find themselves in or even winning a World Series? Yes, it is just extremely unlikely, because that's not where the emphasis is. The emphasis, they want to put out a winning product. There's no question about that. They recognize the value in that. But it really is a business, and they're looking much more at the bottom line than they are at, hey, let's put out a championship product and try to reward.
Did you see what Mark Cuban said?
Yeah,
Somebody asked him about it, and he was like, why would they sell if they don't have to do anything and make no improvement, and they're making $25 million a year?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like they're just making a small profit margin, and that's it. And again, they will do enough, and they have enough good baseball people in the organization that they're going to keep. It'll be a 10-year period. And then there will be a 3-year run and that'll be the next 3 years.
Yep.
They should be in some sort of contention. And then all of those players will be at the point where they can go make significantly more money for other organizations, and the process will start over. And again, it is possible one of those times that they'll catch lightning in a bottle, and with the guys they have, they just get hot. The pitchers are healthy and get hot at the right time. You get a couple of key hits, but they're not going to make the move. They're not going to invest the way, and I'm not saying they need to invest like the Dodgers do, but like make a key move or two when you feel like you have a legitimate
stars.
Keep your stars, but even more so while you have them, compliment them and make, again, if you need another pitcher, go get another top flight pitcher. If you need another big bat, sell out the future to an extent to go really try to win a championship. And they just, I don't think we'll ever do that with the Nottingham.
I mean, the Phillies are in that. I mean, the Flyers are in that situation right now. Once Ed Schneider died and Comcast took over, they are a professional, whatever, incorporated team.
Yeah.
And what's a corporation care about? The bottom line. And that is it.
Yep.
They don't care. Ed Schneider was about building family and relationships and being the place and being that team to go to that people want to come play for. People don't want to go play for the Flyers right now because it's miserable, I'm sure. It's the same thing.
It's just awful if you're a fan.
Yeah.
It's just extremely frustrating to watch other organizations where the emphasis is on winning. Let's try to win championship. Yeah, and I will say, I mean, I do think this is going to be a really interesting postseason. I think it's going to be a lot of fun because I think there's a lot of teams. The New York Mets are making one of the more remarkable runs here. I don't know that there are many people in baseball that would have projected that the Mets would have any shot of making the playoffs, let alone be in a position where they're in the driver's seat right now, back in, certainly in June. But if they get there, Goon, with that pitching staff, and
how hot they're hitting, and
certainly
how
the Dodgers are, and Shohei Ohtani is going to, I think he's I think it's 47 home runs and 48 stolen bases now, right? But that 50-50 is a very real possibility.
I never really knew of his speed until I guess it was probably this year when he started going after that 40-40.
Yeah.
And now they're like, he's going to be a 50-50 guy. And then I was like,
it is looking.
He is not a small man.
Very likely. Certainly very possible.
Right? He's a big man.
He is a big guy.
Who was the guy in the Yankees from Japan 15, 20 years ago? Huge head.
For the Yankees?
Yeah. He played for a couple teams, but he was mostly a Yankee. Matsusaki or something like that.
Yeah.
But he was an enormous man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are these guys coming from? Because usually the Japanese aren't that big of a people.
Aaron Judge, I've noticed, is not a tiny man, really.
He's an enormous man. Did you see him at the Little League World Series? He's walking through the crowd and just, I mean, he's, if he's around short people, it's like watching LeBron James on a basketball court. He doesn't look that big because everybody out there is 6'5" and above, and he's 6'8". He's taller than me, LeBron James.
Yeah.
I don't like the person, but I just marvel at his athleticism. It's just amazing. He's 40-some years old, still running around, dominating. He plays hard every night. You know, you got to give it to him. You know, again, like we may say we don't like him in the long run, but as a person or whatever, whatnot. But my God, you have to respect his athleticism.
Yeah. Yeah, Phillies are
magic numbers 9.
Very much like a team that could win it all.
Man.
I think, again, this postseason is just going to be fun. For obviously, if I have a vested interest, it's going to be stressful because I think any of those series and potential series right now, it's like, I could see it going either way. I mean, the most consistent teams during the season aren't necessarily the teams that end up on top. It's all right, who performs in those relatively short series.
The best part with the Phillies right now is where the production is coming from, and it's coming from everywhere.
Yes.
You got Cody Clemens coming in, and Roger Clemens' kid having a game-winning hit late in the game. And it's like it's like 4 guys on the team that they're just bringing up and giving them some spot at bats, and they're getting big hits, huge hits. That's fun. I mean, again, it's just a fun time to watch that team play because they never have the quit attitude. So I don't know if you saw the bench clear the other night. Did you see it?
I didn't see it. I've read about it, and
I don't know if you heard what Harper did, but he was on second, and he went towards the mound after Castellanos got hit.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was the pitcher was frustrated, so he just
no doubt.
But I mean, let's not play that game, guys. I mean, geez, I mean, that's a crazy game to play, throwing at people like that. So Harper comes in from second. I don't know if you ever hear of the John Boy, the guy who reads the lips and stuff like that, but he does the whole thing on it. It's not safe for work to watch. You can't talk about it here, but
I am sure
they show Harper walking in, and then he picks up some speed, and then wait, nobody's grabbing me. And then he starts walking again. And then people get around him. Then he tries to fight through them. Yeah. So he's catching a little bit of grief in the Philly area about, was that a fake tough guy move? Was that a tough guy move? And this and that. Like, if he wanted that pitcher, he could have had him. And then it was just funny. He was running. Uh-oh, no one's stopping me. I'm going to slow up here. Okay, they're stopping me now. I'm going to run again. I'm trying to force my way through. But I mean, that's a tough team. I mean, just throw Real Muto out there and just have him wrestle somebody and just beat the tar out of him.
There you go.
Wrestle off on the mound right now with JT Real Muto.
Yeah, I think both leagues, the Orioles are
surging big time.
Going to be a tough out. Obviously, New York Yankees like to see somebody be able to just take care of that element. But
I saw a comment on social media today. It's like, name me a team that on paper that looks so good that never won a title. And somebody was like, the New York Yankees last 20 years. And I'm like, it's true. Like, every year they have a schedule, and they haven't won it since 2009, I don't think.
Yeah, it's
the Phillies have had 4 different teams since then. And that's who they beat in 2009.
Good times.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be a nice little fall around here. I'm going to tell you that much. I do want to announce that it's more stuff will be coming out, but we're going to have a viewing party for the Wisconsin and USC game. So actually USC is the first. So it's an away game. We're going to be over the athletic administration, have like a really, really heavy tailgate buffet, cash bar. I'll have prizes. I'll have a 50-50. I'll have all this fun stuff to do like that. And it's $100 a person to get in the door, but I'm going to have some ex-players in there, and specifically some coaches that coach in the spring or who are not busy that weekend. So somebody who maybe or may not pin people. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. So like I said, I want to continue the show into the spring, and I got to do that by funding it. So that's how I'm going to try to crowd fund some funds up and stuff like that to continue the player show, but then use wrestling, hockey, basketball, and some women's sports. So got a couple sponsorships, but we'll hear more about it. But I just we got the okay today. So I don't know if you've been in the new athletic administration building. It's right next to the meat lab.
Yeah, I have not.
Beautiful. They have done.
I've been in the building, but not since it became the athletic administration building.
Yeah, when we were in it before, it's nothing like what it is now. It's beautiful right now.
Yes.
If you ever walk in the Lash and they have this the blue ceiling and the white walls and everything's popping, everything's jumping out at you. It's a lot of that. It's very pretty and very, very well done. I mean, I know we talk about it all the time, but it's just talk. But Pat is just hitting dinger after dinger here, in my opinion.
Well, yes, and to me, the biggest thing about that, and listen, part of this, in fairness to everybody else who preceded him, is the rules are completely different now, right?
True.
Obviously, but I will say
good and bad.
The thing, but the thing that I really appreciate about Pat Kraft is the initial answer for years, and Penn State staff would tell you this, certainly media members would tell you this. It's like, man, if you went and asked Penn State just about anything, that, hey, what about this new, we had a new idea, like, it felt like 100% of the time. I would put it in the high 90s% of the time. The answer was no.
Yep.
No. And it's like, well, why? No, we just don't. That's not something. And Pat Kraft is at least, well, let's see. Now, he's not going to do everything.
Yep.
And there are ideas that they will do that it's like afterward, like, that didn't work. Well, okay. Now we know. Or, boy, it didn't work as well as it could have. Well, what if we change this? Yeah, maybe let's try that. There's just a lot more openness to coaches' ideas, to fan ideas, to any ideas. And again, he's not saying he's going to do everything, and I'm sure there will be people that will be disappointed. Man, I think this was a great idea, and he didn't do it. But boy, the initial answer isn't no, we're not doing it. It's let's look at it. Let's see if maybe we can make that work, and maybe they can't. There's, again, not everything's going to be workable, but where I think there's an earnest attempt to, man, let's look at that. Let's see if there's a possibility there. Let's see what we could do. Yep. Let's see if we can find somebody, if we can't facilitate it.
Can we do this?
Yes. And let's see if we can make it a situation. Would this idea be good, not just for us, meaning the athletic department, Pat Kraft and the programs, but could this be something that helps us with the relationship with the fans? Could it be a great experience for the fans? Could it be something that we grow and look at another angle? Now, part of this is driven, like, they've got to find some new avenues for revenue. There's no question about that. And so part of it is, we've got to find new ways. And so let's listen to ideas that can help us. But I also think it's just wanting to help the coaches, wanting to help the student athletes, wanting to make it a better experience for the fans. Like, I think all of that is genuinely behind the thought process now with anything that is brought up as a possibility to explore. And we're seeing some things that have been done that have been very successful, some that haven't been as successful.
Yep.
But we're seeing some things that it's like, this could really become a fun annual event, or more often than annual.
I mean, I used to be in the restaurant business, and the way that worked, there are people in this town who will do something one week and 15,000 people didn't show up for it. That's the last time we're doing that. We'll never give that a shot. You got to work at it. You got to build it. It's got to be built on, okay, we can build from this. If you feel as if you get to the first time you try something and it's like, it's just not working at all, you got to give it a couple more tries, and then you make your decision, because it takes time to build these things. A brand. I mean, I know we both hate when our athletes say, I'm trying to build my brand. And I'm like, that's just me personally. I just see that as I'm just trying to be different and then set myself apart from the team. That's how I see it. I'm also the old crudgety, old school fat boy in the corner. So
no, but it is part of the game now. It's,
it is.
You've.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to have this thing, these away game visiting parties not away game viewing party. I think that would be a great idea. I mean, have ex-players in there, people you can.
Yeah, I think
you're going to sit there and talk to some ex-players, some ex-coaches, some current coaches, maybe even from some current players. I mean, people are going to love that type of stuff. So, again, maybe we build it from there, and maybe we're having more than 100 people soon, having 300, 400, 500 people. And I mean, the way I say it is USC and Wisconsin, they're not easy places to get to from State College, Pennsylvania.
No.
And it's not cheap getting either one.
No, that is a fact.
Wisconsin's a good 12-hour trip, 10, 12-hour trip, in my opinion. USC, it's about 4 days to get there and back, driving. So you figure you got to, there's a bye week in between so we can rest our livers. But, I mean, to go back to Pat, yes, they do try different things. They listen to different things. They're always on board of saying, okay, how can we make this better? And that's great to be a fan of. They're looking for your experience to be better all the time.
Yep. There's no question about.
So
I think creating those experiences is important.
So speaking of players building their brands and stuff like that, players show on Monday night. I got Riley Thompson. I will not be there. I will be down in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So I okayed a kicker being interviewed on the player show. So
I tell you, Riley, we had a chance to interview him for it was an NIL event back at last, I forget, early summer, late spring. And he is a terrific interview. Cool. He is a really fun and fascinating guy to talk to.
It's got to be an unbelievable story.
Well, he has a really neat perspective on it. And so, that'll be a fun one. I'm
never having played American football and all that. I mean, how many teams have Australian kickers now?
And the perspective he has on it, and American football versus Australian rules football and rugby.
Does he talk about why? Does it correlate better? They're punters. The Australian guys are punting. They're not kicking. They're predominantly, if not all, punters. I don't understand the correlation because they're running, because they usually do that
that's what they do, and
But is he a straight drop back punter, like try the ball, kick it, or is he one of those guys that can bow out to the right and then kick it on the run? Because that's more the Australian rules football. I remember.
Yeah.
But what's the only thing you remember about Australian rules football? And this goes back to when ESPN started, and you're watching midnight. They had the little guy with a little hat on. Remember he used to give the touchdown? That was their touchdown symbol.
Yeah. It is a.
So yes, I will not be
there.
That is I will not be there. So I okayed a kicker being interviewed.
And there you go.
So
Player Show airs 6 to 7 Monday nights here throughout football season, and hopefully beyond throughout the winter and into the spring.
Live at the Penn State Golf Course,
right here at Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. We'll take a break here, and we'll come back. Talk. There's a lot of college football this weekend, even though Penn State isn't playing, and some interesting games, to say the least, in the Big Ten. We'll take a look at that as we continue. It is our Thursday edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show right here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Habaker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Habaker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Habaker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox. The Goon and Ironhead.
And we welcome you back in here on a Thursday afternoon as we get ready for a Penn State-less college football weekend. These weekends are kind of fun. Not used to having one quite this early with the 2 bye weeks now for the Big Ten schools this year. Penn State, I don't know if ever they've had a bye week in September, let alone third weekend of September. But Penn State off. A few games that I think are of interest. You know, Wisconsin is home with Alabama, and this is one of those where we talk about teams trying to schedule games. Like, I give Alabama credit. This is at Wisconsin.
Yep.
And when you schedule it, you don't know, obviously, for sure. I think it's unfortunate for Wisconsin and for college football in general. Now, maybe they'll surprise, but I think Wisconsin is down this year, certainly from some of the better teams they've had, Big Ten contending teams. I don't think they're an awful team this year, but I don't think this is a Badger squad that is going to be in the mix for a spot in the Big Ten championship game this year. And it's just a bummer because I do think it's an interesting game. I'm going to watch it. I'm sure the fans there are excited to have an Alabama in their place.
Funny, it's early, you know.
Yeah,
Jeez,
it's just and listen, Alabama didn't look great last week, but I just think it's a very tough matchup for Wisconsin. I guess we'll just but it's in Madison and
11 a.m.
You don't rule out the possibility. Yeah, local time it'll be an 11 o'clock kickoff. So
that's for both teams.
We'll see.
So they're both in that same.
Interested in seeing that.
I think it's gonna be a great game. I see Wisconsin needs to get that victory, that marquee victory that they've historically.
Yeah, I just don't.
I know, and it's Alabama, and that's the thing is that Alabama can come in there and just drop 70 on them and just run away with it, or Wisconsin can really step up and play defense and thwart them, and I mean it should be a good game. I'm looking forward to that. And then there's a 12:45 game that I've got my eyes on for a while now, and that's their OB and Fitz-led Boston College Eagles versus Missouri, who is quietly the 5th team ranked in the country.
Yeah, I no question. That'll be a fun one to watch. In the Big Ten, the other 2 games that I think are have the most intrigue, and then there's a couple of others that I think are pretty interesting. I know Chris Buchanani on Late Lunch was talking about the one, but the 2 others that I think are on paper at least the best matchups, and the one I think I'm most curious to see right now is that Oregon at Oregon State game. Now, before the season began, I don't think I would have told you all that it's a rivalry game and all that. Yep. But before the season began, my expectation would be, yeah, it's a rivalry game. Could be heated, could be close for a while, but eventually Oregon's going to pull away. Listen, Oregon, they're 2-0. That's where you want to be. But they have not looked impressive at all in either of these games. And this, especially because it's in Corvallis, this just feels like a troublesome game for Oregon. I think there is a real potential here for an upset.
There's hate there.
What's that?
There's hate with those 2 schools.
Well, yes. I mean, that is
you add in the fact
passionate.
that they left Oregon State behind.
Yeah.
There's a lot of passion going to be involved in that game.
But passion aside, I'm not sure that Oregon State and Oregon don't match up a lot better than I would have thought at the start of the season. Oregon is really having some problems on the offensive line. Yep. And if Oregon State can limit the big plays, and that's a big if, but if they can limit the big plays and if they can win the turnover battle, and again, you could probably say that about most college games, well, yeah, just stop Georgia from making the big plays and win the turnover battle. Yeah, good luck with that. But I really do like Oregon State's chances here. I think this is going to be a game that does go right down to the wire, and it's going to be a coin flip type of game as far as who wins. But I'm curious to see if Oregon's offensive line can make some adjustments and show some substantial improvement here, or if we just see kind of what we've seen here for the first 2 weeks, and maybe that's just what Oregon's going to be. And if that is what Oregon's going to be, the one team that I do think is every bit as good as we thought, and I get they haven't been tested. Maybe I'm over giving them too much credit here, overestimating them. But I have been really impressed with Ohio State, Goon, and it hurts me to say it, but that team looks every bit as good as I thought they would. And I just think they have so many weapons on offense and so much depth on defense. That is going to be that. I really thought all season long, man, Ohio State at Oregon, that's a really dangerous game. Maybe it'll still turn out to be. It does not feel like nearly as dangerous a game as I thought it was going to be going into it. So we'll see how that plays out. But I really think Oregon State's got an excellent shot. And the other one that suddenly has become very intriguing is Purdue hosting Notre Dame. Because Purdue seems to, even in its down years, right, they always seem to come up with at least one great effort against a team that you don't expect, whether it's Ohio State. Yeah. They've had a couple of big nights there. But they're a team that is like, again, even when they're down, and I'm not sure how down, again, much like Wisconsin, I don't think Purdue's going to be contending for a Big Ten title, but I'm not exactly sure where in the overall 18-team league you want to pencil Purdue in right now. And at home, I get Notre Dame will be, you presume, angry, but also I think their confidence is shaken a little bit. I don't know how it couldn't be after losing at home to Northern Illinois. I certainly think Purdue can match up favorably with Northern Illinois, and this game is, again, at home. I think Notre Dame will be all right. I think they're going to right the ship to a large degree, but I want to see it. And the longer that game, if Purdue can keep it close or get a lead, the longer that goes, I think the more potential there is for Notre Dame's season to really get unhinged here. I mean, you could argue it's already unhinged, but back-to-back losses with a team that, again, going into last weekend, they had the best odds in Vegas of going undefeated this season. And then you'd be looking, again, all of a sudden at a 2-loss team in the middle of November.
That would break my heart, Jeff. That would break my heart.
How honest to Pete, how sweet would that be?
It would.
I mean, I'm just saying. So a couple of other games that I think are certainly worth keeping an eye on. If you're a Penn State fan and just looking around the conference, Booch mentioned it. Frank Signetti is talking a great game about how great he's going to make this Indiana program. UCLA, the Bruins have been in ruin the last couple of seasons. Hosting Indiana, that's just going to be a fascinating game to watch Saturday night. That'll be a 7:30 kickoff, and I think Indiana will win it, but the Frank Signetti has not done himself or that program any favors if they lose that game. Like, people, when you build up expectations, that the downside is you better take care of business. And it's not like they're an overwhelming favorite. I think Booch said they're a 3-point favorite going in. But, man, if you're favored, you're Indiana, you need to go win that game if you're talking the way
I agree.
Signetti and company have been talking. Well, Signetti's been talking.
And this is really the first game. I might be freaking out here, but is that the first really West Coast, East Coast? The new Big Ten.
Yeah.
Have we? No.
That'll be the first.
That'll be pretty much the first one of the UCLA. Welcome to the Big Ten. And you said it's at UCLA or at Indiana?
Yeah, at UCLA.
Okay, good. Yep. Because if UCLA goes to Indiana, and we'll have our guest on here later, but he'll sit here and laugh. But trying to get fired up at Indiana is the hardest thing you could possibly do in football. Because there's like 78 people in the stands, and you can hear your mom yelling at you. It's like, if that's UCLA's welcome to the Big Ten and they play at Indiana, that would stink.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it's at UCLA.
Yes. I agreed on all counts.
Man, what a horrible place to play.
The other couple of games, Washington State's at Washington. And we mentioned before the season, Washington, new coaching staff, a ton of new players. I've been impressed. Again, we're very early. We'll see, but this will maybe be just a little bit of an indication. I don't think that drop-off is going to be as significant. Again, I don't think they're going to be contending for a Big Ten title or anything, but I'm not sure they're not going to be substantially better than what I was thinking that they were going to be. And we'll get at least an indication of that with this one. Again, they're hosting Washington State. That'll be a 3:30 Eastern time kickoff.
Now, these are probably the last times they're going to be playing, though, because I don't think Oregon State and Oregon, I don't think they're signed up to play past this year.
Yeah.
The same thing with Washington State.
Listen, I'm one of those guys. One of the reasons I wanted to see Deion and company get the beat down and all that. But Nebraska-Colorado was a great rivalry game. It was fun to watch. And I just, I miss the Penn State Pitt series. I miss all of those rivalry games from when I was a kiddo. So anytime any of those goes away, it's a bummer. And I get college football goes on. You get new matchups to take the place and all that.
Why
do
you say that?
Same. Yep.
Because we're just talking about Indiana, how hard it is to play there. What happened in '94 when Colorado beat Nebraska, or Nebraska beat Colorado and stole all the juice. And
darn you, Indiana.
Yep, absolutely.
Playing for the right till the final whistle. You nervy.
Throwing touchdowns on guys who were safeties, but trying to put a cornerback, put them out there, let them play.
The two other games, so Maryland is at Virginia. That'll be the 8:00 game on the ACC network. And Maryland is, I'm telling you, Mike Loxley, they keep letting games get away from them that they shouldn't. And this, they're going to Virginia here.
Right.
This feels like a very important game, even though it's early in the season, just for the mindset right now of that Maryland program, if it is to make any headway or any noise
Correct.
In the Big Ten. I think
a
this
team
is
we
a
talked about 2
really
weeks ago.
critical game for them.
We talked about 2 weeks ago that Maryland had a very favorable schedule this year. And then they go out and crap the bed last week against Sparty.
Inexplicably, to me. I mean, they had that. If you watch that game, and I watched a good bit of it, I mean, maybe if you're a Michigan State fan, but I think anybody else watching that game objectively, you're like, oh, Maryland's the better team.
How do we lose
like
here?
they're a better football team. But they made some bad mistakes and let Michigan State get back into it, and that is a big win for Sparty, but a pretty devastating loss for Maryland. And now I think you want to see, if you're a Maryland fan, all right, where are we at mentally? Virginia, again, not a great team, but in that wide open ACC, maybe Virginia ends up Virginia's probably one of 10 teams right now that feels like, we have a shot if we can get this thing together. So that just feels like a dangerous game for a Maryland team that I just don't know where their psyche is.
They don't
right
know
now,
what the hell they are.
know?
But then also, I got to say, UVA's actually, they're showcasing, man.
They're off.
They won in the SEC or they won in the Big Ten. They got to take care of business this weekend. What better way to do it than beat a Big Ten team?
Yep, agreed. I think that. And then,
so who's your lock of the week, Ironhead? All the bookies
you want to know
all the bookies are calling right now.
Yep, who to bet the other way in the Big Ten or generally?
Just generally. We have to have the Ironhead lock of the week. And just see how it goes.
I'm going to say Penn State does not lose this week. That'll be my absolute ironclad lock of the
That's a
week.
guarantee.
Yeah, that one is an actual guarantee. Let's see. Let's look at top 25. I'll give you, again, Alabama
16,
Wisconsin. I know
Colorado, or Oregon over Oregon State. They're both 16,
I'll tell you,
16 and a half.
So going outside of the Big Ten, by the way, you're listening to WFXS, Pleasant Gap State College. We thank you for doing so. This is Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. That Colorado State game,
yep.
I do love me the Rams, and boy, I will be hoping. It's certainly not one of my guarantees, but man, would I love to see Colorado take the back-to-back loss.
So I texted Johnny Butler, who's at Nebraska now. He's no longer with the Buffalo Bills, and our good friend Sean Padden. And I said, "You guys are America's team this week." So Colorado State is this week's America's team.
Yep.
And I think I'm closer and closer to Deion just packing his bag and leaving. Like I said 3-4 months ago, man. I think it's so close to just this ending and just get out. I mean, the national media has turned on them now. It's like he can't hide from it now. Like, you still have to coach. You still have to do the X's and O's.
Well, yes. The other game that I will say, I think Penn State fans will have a vested rooting interest in and will want to keep an eye on. So we were talking after the West Virginia game, going like a great performance. Everybody's feeling good about Penn State. And then you see what they did against Bowling Green. You see what Pitt just did against Cincinnati, eking it out by a point. So the backyard brawl, West Virginia, Pitt, this Saturday. If you're a Penn State fan, for multiple reasons, you're rooting for West Virginia, not just to win this game. You'd like to see a convincing win where it's like, yeah, boy, that West Virginia. And I think the hope is that West Virginia offense kind of shows out big in this one, again, from the Penn State perspective, and get some points on the board. And you're thinking, I mean, this, if Garrett Green is on, right, this is a Cincinnati team that put 27 on Pitt. West Virginia should be able to get in the 30s. And I think that West Virginia defense, while not one of the great vaunted defenses in college football this season, I think they can keep Pitt in the 20s. Like, this feels like a game that West Virginia could maybe should win by a couple of touchdowns and get to like a 38-24 type of margin, in which case, again, I don't know that it necessarily means, all right, Penn State is national championship bound, but it's like, okay, now that does look like it's a pretty solid win, and this reaffirms that for the Nittany Lions over the Mountaineers. So I think if there's a game that you want to have a strong rooting interest outside of the Big Ten Conference for Penn State, and then the other one to keep an eye on, I know it's early, Goon, but you can already feel the excitement building. We got the word yesterday officially. Penn State and UMass are renewing their rivalry in 2028.
Thank God.
You never too early to start talking Penn State UMass, because anything can happen. Well, anything being a Penn State blowout of anywhere
kids
between
playing that game aren't even in high school yet.
38 and 58 points. UMass coming to Beaver Stadium. 4 years we get to build up this matchup. They'll be at Buffalo tomorrow. You just want to get an early indication of kind of where that UMass program is going to be in 4 years by watching.
Honest to God, what was it, 5 years ago when I know it was 5 years ago, so that was our 25-year reunion, but then that was a Buffalo team that was starting to turn the corner, and they got a little stagnant the last few years. You know what I'm talking about? You know, I thought they were an up-and-coming team, and then I guess the coaches leave, and then all of a sudden, maybe it was the coaches and
not so much. The other game you're just going to want to watch to see whether or not Tennessee wins by 70 or more or not is Tennessee-Kent State. Poor Kent State. I mean,
they got Tennessee, then Penn State. Oof. They're going to play in front of 220,000 people in 7 days total.
Yes, and they're
going to give up 220 points.
Yes, may be outscored by a similar margin.
That would be an interesting question for some of those guys.
What's that?
What did you feel about the Tennessee Stadium versus the Beaver Stadium? You know, what time's the game for Tennessee?
I think that is actually a night game.
They're coming out of the hills for that one, so that's going to be much louder ruckus.
Yeah, it's a 7:45 game, which that's another. I mean, everything has changed about the college football world, but remember when the night games meant it was a big game? I mean, unless it was out on the West Coast, like you knew, all right, Tennessee, it's a night game. Yep. Man, which SEC power or which intersectional big matchup is Tennessee Kent State is a primetime affair on the SEC network, no less. So one of the many, many ways that college football has changed.
True that.
All right, I am going to get out of here. Oh, my lock of the week. You need my lock of the week.
I don't.
The people out there putting money.
Absolutely.
Well, Booch was talking. This is not my lock of the week, but Booch was talking about the Friday night game between Arizona and Kansas State is a pretty intriguing matchup.
One of the better games of the whole weekend, to be honest.
Well,
not a great weekend for football.
And Kansas, by the way, is home with UNLV, which will be fairly interesting as well. Let's see. I mean, I don't want to go the route of the absolute gimmies here. Let me just I'll take Texas A&M over Florida because I think
big game
and that's in Gainesville. I mean, I don't think Florida has much chance of salvaging anything, but if they are going to salvage anything from this season, like that is at home against the Texas A&M team that lost to Notre Dame now is looking even worse. Let's just put it this way. If Florida does not win this game against Texas A&M, and I don't think they're going to, but if they don't, do you see a path to them having a winning record this season? I mean, forget about playoffs or even big bowl games. Their schedule is brutal.
Have you seen what they're paying? Was it Danny Mullins?
Oh,
his buyout was $70 million. Napier's is $50 million.
Yeah.
So they're going to be on the hook, and they're going to have to pay somebody else if they're going to fire Napier. The only reason the guy's still there is because they don't want to pay a third head coach right now.
And especially, I think I really do. I don't think there's any doubt that the athletic administration there looked at the schedule. It's like, all right, why when you bring in a new coach, you want to at least try to build some enthusiasm for the program. And hey, we're headed in a new direction. There was no way with this schedule, I don't care who you hired, that they were going to be much better than 8-4. And I think that was going to take a lot of,
I've never been to Florida. Has our future guest been to Florida? Facility-wise? Yeah. I've never been. Facilities and stuff. I mean, I'm sure they're top of the line. I get it. They're probably just much like ours. But, I was talking to somebody who is very well off, and I was like sitting there, and he knows Florida. He knows the Texas people and stuff like that. And he was saying, I was trying to explain to him the buyouts and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, they're going to be paying a third head coach that they've already paid 50 for the last one, 70 for the one before, and they're going to have to bring somebody in. They're going to demand some big money to go in there because of how shambles.
Well, and they need to bring in somebody that will command big money. Like they can't.
That person's going to have $10 million. So I'm sitting there, and my friend is adding up all the numbers, and he goes, "Florida's got money. Florida don't have that kind of money. That's Texas and Texas A&M oil money." That's that type. You're talking in the $150 million, and that's what you're paying for your head coaches. That is, who's hiring these people? And then why can't they hire me for one of those? I will take, like Ed Ogeron, $40 million buyout. You tell me what town and what door to leave from. I'll be there.
Amen, brother.
Woo!
Amen.
All right, Headley.
Yep.
You have a good weekend, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And
so Florida is the lock of the week.
Enjoy. Yep. Absolutely. No.
Florida.
Yes.
Florida.
No. Texas A&M is my lock of the week. That Texas A&M is going to win
Florida
at
+3.
Florida. Yeah. So if
we're going to go with the
money on the game, yes, you want to bet Florida because I'm telling you, A&M's going to go in there and win that match.
It is unbelievable how bad we truly both are at this, and it's like this is your life. This is what you guys talk about 5 days a week. Yes, and you cannot pick a winner. Yes, this is true.
But I can look back and tell you why the team didn't win.
I told you I had that feeling. I just didn't say it.
Yeah. I
right. Florida +3. I would not make that play until Saturday because I think that you may get some more points. Because I think everybody and their mother is going to be jumping on A&M on that with that line. And
I think that's
when Florida jumps in and takes a last second field goal to win by 3, and everybody and Ironhead is ridiculed for another week.
Won't be the last time for sure.
Exactly.
Certainly not the first time.
All right.
Not even the first time this week. Yes. So I'll be back Tuesday. Booch, I won't see you again until the following week. Goon. Booch will be filling in for Goon next week as Goon makes his way down to
I'll see you for homecoming week.
The Outer Banks. Yeah.
Think about that.
How hard to believe will be. And I do think we're going to learn a lot more about this Penn State team in that matchup. I think Illinois
is a great good matchup there.
Yep. I think their line play and their quarterback, I'm sure they are looking at the film of that Bowling Green game in the first half. And it's like, I think we could do a pretty similar job. So it'll be interesting to see some of the adjustments made as well by Penn State and some of the different ways they try to attack that Illinois offense. But that's well down the road. I'm heading out of here. Goon will take you home the rest of the way with our special guest.
Super special.
We'll talk to you again on Tuesday. Chris Buganani will be with me here at Quaker Steak and Lube. And so until then, be good and be safe. And stay tuned. Goon will be right back.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing and State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen Baker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen Baker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen Baker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going with the Happy Valleys 98.7 The Fox. The Goon and Ironhead.
The 98.7 Fox, I mean, that sounded great. I mean, Jeff Ironhead's he's making great commercials out there. So the head has changed and he has morphed into a NFL defensive coordinator, son of Buddy Ryan himself. My boy Brandon Noble. Welcome back, brother.
It's good to be back home, man. Absolutely, no doubt about it.
So we're talking about being home.
Yeah.
Where have you been, Brandon? What has been going on here?
I took a little tour of duty over in the European League of Football.
I got to hear all about it, man.
Otherwise known as ELF. And they got to come up with a new
they do.
a new combination there. Flip the league into football or something. But I spent the last 6 months in Hamburg, Germany, coaching football for the Hamburg Sea Devils, and what an experience it was.
Talk to me.
I drank a lot of beer.
Good beer too.
Oh, amazing beer.
German purity laws.
They're so cheap.
They've just completely ruined the show.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really cool experience. I mean, it was. I've not spent, I played 2 years in Barcelona for the Barcelona Dragons back in the 1900s, and came back this time with an opportunity to go coach over there, and it was a really, really cool experience. Beautiful city, great people, like we talked about, and I'm sure we'll talk about again. Amazing beer, and ridiculous. Like €3 and $3.79 for a sixer. Yeah, and if you take the bottles back, you get like 50 cents back.
The heck?
Yeah, so like you kind of have to buy a six-pack every time you walk in the store, just out of principle.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
our forefathers would make us do that, so they're happy
absolutely.
about that, obviously.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, no, it was cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yes.
What was the flavor? What was the beverage of choice?
Any of them. Pills, Hells, any of them. I mean, it's more, one of the interesting things coming home is I've been drinking, a lot of IPAs again, because
you always have.
They don't drink those over there. They don't have them. They're hard to find. So just a lot of just traditional
don't need to.
Well,
right?
I mean, do we have to go into the purity laws?
No.
I mean,
I did all my research, man.
You have to. There's a certain way you can brew beer in Germany, and you have to follow it.
4
otherwise,
ingredients, right?
Otherwise, you're gone.
Yeah, water, hops, wheat, and barley or something like that. I don't know, but it's basically that's it. And they do an amazing job with those 4 ingredients.
Well, I always laugh. People not laugh, but I'm always of the. I mean, I am a wheat beer fan. I figured that out late in life.
Beer.
I mean, you and I were Coors Light, Miller Lite, Bud Light, just the light beer guys. When you're having more than 75, that's what you drink. So I got into the wheat beers probably 15, 20 years ago and, started doing some research on it. And we love the Leinenkuhls.
Yes.
Absolutely love the Leinenkuhls. The Blue Moons are a little weak for me.
Yeah.
They had Mango Cart. Cart. From Pacific Road is probably my favorite beer right now, but I got schooled by a European one time, and they say drink this stuff called Franz's Connor.
Oh,
I said okay, I'll try one, and I was like, oh my god, this is the nectar of the gods.
I drank a lot of that,
and they're like, yes, this is what every wheat beer is trying to be. Like every kind,
it's like the
every
original
stout
one.
wants to be Guinness.
Yes,
that's what they're trying to be. And it's never going to happen.
No.
So every wheat or every type of beer like that, flavored beer, is trying to be a Franz's Connor.
Yep. And that was $4.79
for a sixer.
Bottles.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I had Marco with me all last week, and I remember telling him last week, I said, you know what? Because I probably have told you this in the past, and that is that I'm upset that I never went to go visit Marco in Green Bay.
Yeah,
and when he was playing, because I went to his Hall of Fame induction, and I was just enamored about how beautiful the place was and how everything was based around football. Was like
that's exactly right.
It's a collegiate football team, but they're making a lot of money.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't have to tell you, but I had a bad experience in the NFL, and I was pissy about it.
Bitter. I get
and
it.
I was
Absolutely.
like, I'm not going to an NFL game. I'm never going to do this. And yeah. And I told Marco, I said, it pains me that I never went to go see you out there and stuff like that.
Yep.
And now it's paining me right now that I didn't go to Hamburg to see.
I had
the Nobes.
Yep.
So
I had an apartment and a car. We could have a good time.
Well, the car wouldn't have worked.
No, the car.
We would look like Fred and Barney running down the street.
Would have screamed. Absolutely.
I mean, was it like a typical German car, which like
it was a little
4x4
Volkswagen. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So we would like a clown car driving to practice, right? Everybody would pile out.
But, my goodness!
Look, I don't know what the future holds.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. That's where I'm going with it.
Yeah. No, if I find myself back over there, man. I told everybody, everyone was welcome to join and visit. But now that I've been there for a year, I really way better feel. I know where to go. I know how.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a thing you're going to practice for a day. I mean, what am I doing?
Yep.
It's like now where you can send me.
Yep. Jump on the train, go here, sit down here at the harbor, have a fish Brookton and a Weiss beer. That's like a piece of fish on toast. It's pretty good.
Now all of a sudden I'm like, okay, all right. I'm eating fish garden in a garden, drinking a Hefeweizen.
Yeah, exactly.
Hamburg.
Cool.
What part of the country is that?
North Germany.
So up near the
Arctic Circle, the North Sea and the Baltic Sea.
What was the
the Elbe?
What was the Antwerp? I think was up north, and that was a big World War II thing. So everybody I ask about who comes over from there was you and I are both World War II freaks, like that type of stuff. So anything over there worthwhile? I mean, are they just trying to whitewash it?
Well, no, it's not whitewashed. It's gone.
They just don't talk about it.
Yeah, and but there was one of the really cool. I guess from our perspective, right, is the Hamburg is right on the Elbe, right? So they had a bunch of U-boat pens there and U-boat factories there, and so when the Allies bombed Hamburg, it was very similar to what they did in Dresden, right? It was Operation Gomorrah, and it was basically just firebombing. And
so we can't specifically bomb this, but we can burn the hell out of everything else.
Exactly right. And so there's this old church. Hamburg has 7 steeples throughout the city that they're not, which is really cool. They're not allowed to build buildings taller than them, so you can always see them, which is really cool.
Billy Penn.
Yeah, but one of them is this old church that actually has a museum underneath it, because it's not a church anymore. It's just the clock tower, and it's all blackened and it's burnt. Right, that's exactly right.
Blown away.
And there's also a really cool big anti-aircraft bunker that is massive. Like, it looks like Beaver Stadium when you walk up to it. It's huge.
Oh, and they have the artillery units on top of it.
Well, and then they've built this like garden on it, and there's a bar up there, and it's insane. And then it was, but from they don't, it's. I really wasn't sure how to even talk about World War II when I got over there. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey guys, how you doing?
I played with a guy who played when you were in Barcelona. He was playing in the German league.
Yeah,
one of the German teams, and he was like, we would go to the museum, and the guy would be dictating it to us. It'd be like 15 lines of stuff, and he'd be like, it just talks about World War II, and
that's exactly right.
And then then there was peace afterwards in the Berlin Wall, and it was like, this has a lot more than that, dude. What the hell? What the heck, man?
Yeah, so there's definitely a little bit of that. But
so it's all German.
Yes. No. The league is
all German.
No, the league is all over Europe.
Oh, okay. So you were actually traveling around Europe.
We opened up in Prague. We played in Paris before the Olympics.
I told you I would have been your water boy.
We were in Madrid. It was Frankfurt, Dusseldorf. Where else were we? Cologne. There's one more there that I can't off the top of my head.
Berlin.
There's a team in Berlin, but we didn't play Berlin this year. There was a real. There's a team in Poland. I can't pronounce the name of the city. We just call them the Polish Panthers. There's a team in Vienna. There's a team in Stuttgart, Germany.
Stuttgart.
That's
where the Conlin family is coming from. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, next time we'll definitely make a little rail trip down there. But it was neat. So
you gonna break the news to my wife or to your wife that we're coming? Hey, Goon's coming to Germany next year for about 2-3 weeks.
Couple weeks. We'll have a good time.
Honey, I'm not coming home. What?
Yeah. Just gonna. We always need volunteers over there.
Well, I'll be broadcasting the Goon and Ironhead show live from Dusseldorf.
I love it. Absolutely.
Stuttgart.
We can do it from all over the place. Hamburg. It was a lot of fun. The Germans are.
Well, that's where I'm going to go with now.
Okay.
You played in Barcelona. You played in the World League of American Football, the European League, all this and all that. It just seemed like the German teams were the most successful teams over there, fan-wise and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right. I mean, you had Barcelona. What they're now having. There's no NFL team going there. They're trying London all the time.
Yeah,
but Marco played in Scotland.
Right. Yeah.
They don't even have. It's not even there. It just seemed to really. I mean, the last couple of years of the World League was just German teams, right?
Yeah, they consolidated. They kept one team in Amsterdam.
They just love the game.
They love. Well, so there's a lot of. There were a lot of American military bases over there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So it got very Americanized in that regard, and they really do love football. And talking about Stuttgart, Vienna also, obviously not in Germany, but they have a long. Those teams are actually really successful because they've been playing football there for a long time, and again, a long time there is different than a long time here, right? So. But they have been playing American football over there for quite some time and have built these leagues that basically just filter right up into the ELF. And so it's really neat to see. And they do love it. I mean, look, exactly. They do. Like we played in a couple games this year where we had 25, 30,000 people.
And what's the competition?
So I described it as it's probably somewhere between FCS level football and like MAC, like mid-major ball with a handful of really good football players.
So it is truly a MAC school. It's a MAC football.
Yeah, very similar. And the really interesting thing is like most of the team is made up of guys that have normal jobs. So there's like a bar league softball element to it too, right? Where it's like, we got doctors. We had kids that were studying to be lawyers. We had teachers. We had police officers. We had physical therapists.
And this is all post-college for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
They're all done.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And a chunk of them come over here and play in the States. The point of the league, right? The point of the league is to develop someplace for European football players to come back to after they come to the States and play college football. And kind of create a professional career for themselves over there, and to develop the game,
and expand the game to younger people and sit there. I mean, you got a guy coming back playing for Penn State, and he goes back to Germany.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, he's telling stories about what we did here, and did this, and did that, and they're like, "Oh my God, wow, that'd be amazing!"
Yeah, and it builds the game.
That's
So
grassroots right there.
It is. It's really neat. They've got a great idea, a great plan. The rules are actually, each team gets 4 American. You got tags, right? You got A tags. Yep. So you got 4 Americans. Only 2 can be on the field at the same time. So it's 2 offense, 2 defense, right? And then you get 6 EU tags, which means they can be anywhere else except the country that you're in. And then everybody else is what they call a homegrown, and they have to be from the country that you're in.
Okay.
So Vienna, Austria, only 1 team there. Amazing. They get all the best homegrowns. Paris, France, only 1 team there. They get the French national team basically plays for the Paris Musketeers. Germany has 7 teams.
Really? The Musketeers.
I know, right?
That's exactly so bad.
That's
typical
exactly
France.
Yep, the Frenchies. But in Germany, there's like 7 teams. So the talent gets dispersed a little bit.
And they're all German, as in they're not like local to Hamburg.
Correct.
So you could have a kid from Stuttgart.
We had 3, 4 guys that were from Berlin that drove up twice a week to go to practice, and it's a 3-hour drive. They would get in their car. One of them, I had my man Marcel, 41 years old, a roofer, right, from Berlin. He would roof from 7 o'clock in the morning till about 1, go home, get in the car, drive to Hamburg, practice for 3 hours, get in the car, drive back to Berlin that night, get home probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and then get up on a roof the next day.
And then go back to practice?
And then we practice twice a week.
Oh.
Yep. It was amazing. I mean, it was like, I respect the hell out of guys.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
He could do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You jumped off sides. That's okay, buddy. Nice work.
Buddy.
It's all right. It's
You're okay,
You're
Marcel.
supposed to be in the B gap, but you don't know what that is, so we'll just go with the A gap.
Size.
Yeah, exactly. Some guys are massive, and some guys are not very big.
So I'll say massive, but okay, drug testing.
Yes. Oh, very. And what's crazy is they're a part of NADA or whatever that is, and like they get like street drug. They get tested for everything.
Really?
Which is no fun. They threatened the coaches with that, and I was like, "Hold on, time out." Performance-enhancing drugs everywhere. Look at me.
It's okay. You're okay. You're all right there, buddy.
Just the beer. They're not testing for beer.
Thank God.
Yeah. So none of that, man. But just not the old like. It's funny because I watched Rocky IV when I got home, and watching Drago get.
But he hit his twice.
Yeah, exactly. Just see those giant needles that they're sticking in him as he's running around in his white leotard, punching bags. But
that was so hot. Oh, that's so hot, Nose. That's so hot. Absolutely. So, all right. Upon return, other than being happy to see your wife and children,
yes.
What was the first thing we did? You went and tried a Miller Lite. And you're like,
I absolutely did not. So there's a restaurant around the corner from me. It's a little Italian deli, Montezano Brothers. They're from down in the city. Mary Kate grew up with them, and I got home.
The city where she grew up.
I know, with the Upper Darby-ish down there. I know it's not the city. Delco. I mean, they're definitely Delco. And they
don't try and church it up, Mary Kate.
They have a great little deli, and so we went there. Grabbed that, drove down to see Connor at Westchester. He's playing in Westchester. Took me a week to get up here to see Gracie, who's a senior at Penn State this year.
Unbelievable.
I know, right? And saw her. And then
Mr. Jackson.
My son Jack is 3 weeks into boot camp right now.
But he's not playing high school football.
He's done. He's in boot camp, like
in the Army.
Yeah, wants to be a Ranger.
He graduated.
He graduated. I missed his graduation, so I definitely missed a couple things. Missed his graduation and missed him shipping off to Fort Benning, which is now Fort Moore, down in Georgia, where he is going to be for the next 20 weeks, going through all of that fun stuff. I actually got to talk to him for the first time on Sunday, which was great. He's a very intelligent young man. When he got his phone, so he went to what they call reception battalion, which is where they just kind of hang out and they process him through. And the first 2 Sundays, he got his phone and he FaceTimed his mother and he texted me, right? It made complete sense, Mary. I was in Germany.
Yep.
She was here, so he's talking to his mom. But so the day that they take him to boot camp, right? And I was not prepared for this. I get this phone call. I'm actually on the phone with Billy Anderson. I'm driving driving home from dropping Mary Kate off at work and talking to Billy. And all of a sudden I look down at my phone and it says Jack Noble. So I pick up the phone. Hey, Jack, how you doing? And all I hear are like drill sergeants behind him, like screaming and yelling. And he goes, "Hi, this is Jackson Noble. I have reported to Fort Moore." He's basically like reading a ransom letter, right? And it's like, I will not have my phone
for $6 million.
Yeah, I will not have my phone with me for 4 weeks. Please do not try and contact me. You will get a letter with my address. You can write me, blah, blah, blah. Goodbye. And I was like, that was the best call to make to your father. That was the best decision, because if my wife would have heard that phone call, she would have been on the first birch smoking to Columbus, Georgia, to go get her baby out of that place.
Holy heck!
Yeah, it was a bit of a wake up. But so I get to see Jackson in November when he graduates from basic training. I'm going to fly down there and go do that. But yeah, so I mean, besides seeing the family, I got attacked by my 3 dogs who I hadn't seen in 6 months, and I decompressed, man.
We got a new one for you at the house.
Oh, I'm excied. I know.
We rescued a Frenchie and another Frenchie. So
tons, tons of French bulldogs in Germany.
Well, of course,
everywhere.
Germans are like they do the release. That's all you get, Frenchie. Beautiful. So, is there talk of a contract going back next year beyond this?
That all
was it that much fun that you're like,
I would do it again. My end goal is to coach back here in the United States.
Sure.
Obviously. That's kind of part of the deal with going over there. I've been coaching high school football for the last 7-8 years at Downingtown with my 2 sons there. And now that they're out of the house, this was, I did the USFL, which is now the UFL 2 springs ago. I was in Germany this spring, and the goal is to get a job here in the States somewhere during the next hiring cycle. But if not, I would 100% go back at least probably one more time. And so those conversations will start happening, I think, within the next month. The ELF championship is in a week. And so after that, I believe all that stuff starts moving.
Football League Europe. That's what we're going to start calling. All right. FLE, the flea program, not the ELF. So, my Lord.
Yeah.
All right. What perception of Germans, of Americans, all that stuff, was it a lot of the stuff
Oh God, yeah.
They don't like us, or they do like us?
They scratch their heads at us. They don't.
Well, you, of course, they're looking at you. Go, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah, they're no. There were definitely a lot of questions. They definitely mock us for our beers.
We produce the most, but don't drink as much as them.
That's exactly right, and it's not as good.
Is it true that you could get at McDonald's? Is that a myth?
McDonald's?
Beer?
Yeah. Oh yeah, everywhere.
Beers at McDonald's.
Everywhere.
I don't think I would like that.
No, absolutely not. It's wrong.
Huh. What's the drinking age there? I mean, are they like young kids drinking and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
I feel like it's like 16 or 18.
It's the old school, man. You teach them how to drink so that when they get on their own, they're like, they don't, go crazy with it.
And it costs like $3,000 to get a driver's license. Yeah, they have to go to all these schools
to get a license.
It's between $2,000 and $3,000.
Why?
The Autobahn.
Oh, did you drive it?
I did drive it.
How was it?
It was fun.
Come on,
fast.
Oh my
goodness. So I'm in my little Volkswagen 4-door guy, right? You know what I mean? And we've got it pegged at 230 kilometers an hour.
About 2.2.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It was fast. It was as fast as the car would go. And you'd be in the middle or the right lane, and some car would just blow your car would shake, like it would move, and it would just disappear. Wow! And I mean, you couldn't even figure out what it was. I saw this great video of a guy in a plane. He said, you're in Germany when the cars are passing the planes, and he's videoing a car from landing at the Hamburg airport or one of the airports in Germany, and there's a car on the Autobahn that passes the airplane.
So they literally teach you how to drive at like
300 miles an hour.
300
kilometers an hour. No, yeah, 300. Oh, absolutely. Oh, they go maybe not 300 miles an hour, but 200 miles an hour.
Holy jeez.
They'll make some of the trips that are like a 6-hour trip, a 3-hour, 3.5-hour trip. It's crazy. It was insane.
I mean, are they just like deaths on a daily basis there?
They're very, very good. I'll tell you one thing that they are very rules conscious in Germany, right? So, but that's
following orders.
Exactly. That's the one place where they are wide open and they go wide open. But they have they're aware of it, right? So it's in, you don't drive in the left lane, right? You stay in the middle or the right, and you get over, right? And people, the flash in the headlights, and but I'll tell you what, when there are accidents, they're catastrophic.
Oh yeah, there's nothing left there.
Catastrophic.
Yeah, you got like a spark plug left in the road there.
When the Porsche hits the camper van at 280 miles an hour, it's gone.
You don't see Rudolph anymore.
No, it's gone. Completely.
Oh man,
yeah.
I love the Autobahn. Just hearing the stories of World War II and how Hitler was so far ahead and creating those, and then by the time the Americans and the Russians invaded, that they just used them and they just went through Germany. They went through Germany faster.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Congratulations, you've hastened your defeat.
Immaculate surfaces. The road surface, just on the Autobahn.
I would love to know,
just like,
how are they doing? Are they re-tarring?
They must do it every year.
Monthly, yeah.
Because when you're going that fast and you hit a bump,
you're going to crack.
Yes. Yeah. So it is, amazing.
You did it, though?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, did you have to do it, or you're like, I got to do this?
Oh, yeah. Well, we were making a road trip to the North Sea and had to do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, how long is this? I'm like really trying to think, like, what can I do? I mean, you're saying the North Sea and this and that, and I'm like,
I got my feet in the North Sea. It was awesome.
You probably saw some stuff, man.
Oh yeah, that was actually the one place that I remember when we pulled up. We were walking around. We're walking kind of up out of the parking area and down over this berm, right? And it's actually an old seawall that had turrets on it. Like tank, like turret, like guns. You know what I mean? For just in case the Allies came up the Elbe or dropped down into the North Sea. It was crazy, man. It was really cool to see. Yeah, big World War II turrets on it. And, it was crazy. The North Sea is very cold.
The Germans were very, very good with their bunkers and their rebar.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of rebar. Nothing blows up there.
No. Nothing gets blown away.
No.
You're getting hit with 500-pound bombs and you're withstanding it. You know you're built to last.
Oh, you can see that the bunker I was telling you about is down in Hamburg. It's like the walls.
I think I've seen pictures of it, and it's just
massive.
like.
It's massive.
But I think what
doesn't look.
If
real.
I recall, the Ratchman, the former Pope.
Yes.
2 popes ago, who was in the Hitler Youth.
Oh yeah,
he was in an anti-aircraft thing, and they said he was on one of those towers and stuff like that.
That's crazy how big overlooking the harbor.
Man. So you're back here for another year with the obligatory stuff.
Yep. Doing the obligatory. Still calling. Got some NFL work. And, not my wife has put me in football timeout. I'm not allowed to go to any practices. I'm not allowed to watch any film. I can just watch Connor play, Penn State play, and then do my NFL work. I'm not allowed to coach football for a couple of weeks.
That's not a bad thing, Brendan.
It's actually, to be completely honest with you, Keith, it's been wonderful.
I just called you Brandon. You called me Keith. I think we're in trouble.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's how you know you're in trouble with our names. Keith and Brandon. Oh, God. No, boy.
Yeah,
boy.
But, yeah, it has been nice. It took me about a week to decompress, to be like, all right, I don't have to watch film. I don't have to do anything. But I've been very good with it. And it's been nice. It's been nice.
So over there, as an NFL player who does not look like an NFL player anymore because you're so damn thin, but I mean, was there were like people like asking you, and like were they inquisitive about the NFL?
Oh yeah,
about America in general.
I mean,
I'm sure the football players wanted to hear everything you could tell them.
Oh yeah, they're sponges.
They're like,
and coaches. And in fact, I've got my buddy, young kid, 24 years old.
He's coming over.
He's coming over. His name's Andreas. We call him Andy. He was our tight ends coach. Loves American football, and he was like, when I was like, "Hey, we're going to the whiteout," because the O-line coach for the Sea Devils is a UW.
I told you we're set, right?
Yeah. And
meat fest.
I know it's going to be amazing. But Andreas is flying over for it. He's so excited about it. But yeah, he
was a player or one of your coaches?
Coach. He's a coach.
Okay.
24 years old. He grew up playing, and then stopped playing and started coaching, and really loves the game. But they got a ton of questions, and it's funny, just like we like going over there, and you're like, oh, like, what's this going to be like, and what's it really like over here? And I got to kind of live it, but a lot of those guys have never been over here. Then they got a lot of questions. It's great. They're like, oh, we've heard Philadelphia is a beautiful city. We can't wait to go visit there. I'm like, well, we'll have to, make sure we take them on the good tour.
Certain areas.
Exactly. That's exactly right. We won't go up to Temple and see that area. But
you lived that.
Yes, exactly. And so no, and tons of questions about, the way that guys prepare, right? Like football questions, because again, these are guys that they have other jobs, they have other things that they're doing. So what's an NFL week really like? What's a college football week like? Even high school football, because they don't even have that. None of their athletics is tied to the school. So it's all club sports, basically.
So even like their soccer teams are actually clubs. There's nothing involved with
as far as I can know, no. I could be wrong there, but I drank a lot of beer. The beer's delicious. That's what I got.
So when are you taping the obligatory? You're not taping, but when are they showing?
We're doing them Fridays at 5:00 on the For the Bloggy YouTube channel.
Yep.
I'm actually up here tonight because we're gonna pre-record the Kent State one tomorrow, and then we'll release it next week. But on home games, due to Kevin Horn's travel schedule, that's what we're gonna do. And then I'm not sure because
who's he following this year?
Yeah, UTSA still.
Again.
Absolutely. And they're bad apparently this year, so he's going to struggle a little bit there. And Penn State. So, yeah.
Now, if he starts doing like talk shows for UTSA, I'm going to come on, man.
Punch him. Yeah.
I need to work on this, Horny.
Yeah. He's, so we're working around that schedule. And the fact that I'm not coaching high school football anymore allows me to be up here more, which, again, like I said, I've missed being up here. The last kind of 7-8 years when I really got into being the defensive coordinator at Downingtown, I didn't feel like I could go back and forth. That wasn't fair. And now, plus with Gracie being up here for one more year, I think the opportunity to hang out with her, and she's 21, right? You can go to a bar and have a drink with her, and she can
beat it, Dad.
Of course, that's what every 21-year-old senior at Penn State wants: is a guy looking like this sitting next to her at the bar.
Like, okay, that guy's a creep. Is that your father? Yes. So we got Puppy's daughter up here. She's a true freshman now.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Just amazing. So I was telling somebody this story the other day, and that is the reason I moved here to State College in June 1st, 2005. Was because the man to my left was going to finance and I was going to run.
Oh, that's right.
We were buying the Penn State sub shop.
Yep.
We were going to have our cheesesteaks, and then I was going to have all the bread imported from Philly. And now I have to tell you that there's at least a dozen places in town that have that idea and are just killing it right now.
I know. Every time I walk
everybody is finally realizing, okay, well, it's not the meat, it's not the cheese, it is the roll.
It's the roll.
It's the portal to get the meat and cheese into your mouth.
That's exactly
and
right.
That's what brings it out. That's what brings the meat out. Everything
is
fantastic, and that's what
Yep, no, I know. Missed opportunities, man.
It is what it is. I mean,
I trust me. When I was up here last weekend, Gracie and I were walking around, and I saw them all down there, and I was like, man, yeah, Goon was right.
Oh, I had it right, but then we weren't going to spend that kind of money on something like that. And then, remember why it fell through?
Yep.
Because I was watching you in an NFL football game, and your leg turned 790 degrees the wrong way. And it spun back the wrong way.
Yep.
And I was talking to LeVar last week, and he was on the field.
Yeah.
And I said, do you remember what Bruce Smith said? He goes, I remember Bruce was screaming.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. Trainer.
And then you're sitting there, and you're laying on the ground, and I'm watching the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, sitting watching them, I'm like, I guess I got to figure out what we're going to do now, because I don't think the sub shop's going to take off right now.
Yeah, that might be the end.
Yeah. And you said Jackson's name earlier. It's your youngest son.
Yeah.
Tell people what you went through at his birth.
So that's the ACL, MCL, PCL that you're just talking about was kind of minor in all things considered, right?
Yeah.
So that was actually right after Gracie was born, and my first year in Washington, and then Jack was born 2 years later, and at that point in time, I had a MRSA infection right before Jack was born. And then a pretty bad one that they almost took my leg off for, and I came back and got ready for camp that year and went to camp getting ready to open up with the Chicago Bears. I guess it would have been in 2005, and got a little bone bruise in my knee, and they put me on IR. The bone bruise wouldn't get better, and then next thing I know, my knee feels very similar to the other knee, which had the MRSA infection. I said, hey, guys, I probably need to get cut open. They took me into the hospital. By this point, my leg's kind of on fire. They take me to the hospital on a Thursday night, and Mary Kate comes in, and I do emergency surgery Thursday night. Well, I don't. I'm unconscious for it, but the doctor does, cleans me out, Friday morning, Mary Kate comes in and gives birth to Jackson upstairs. Thankfully, they allowed me into the delivery room because they were going to have to knock me out with an elephant tranquilizer to the neck to not be in the room for that. And then,
but you were screened, right? You weren't.
Oh God, yeah,
you were.
They
there,
kept me apart from everything, right? I was in a wheelchair. I had my own IV, and they wheeled me into the corner and let me just sit and watch, right? And then like 3 weeks later, so it was right after Christmas, maybe early January, I started having some back pains and coughed up a golf ball sized blood clot and realized that I had pulmonary embolisms in my lungs, and get rushed to the hospital for that. Spend about 10 days in the hospital. The doctors say, "Hey, you almost died there again." And
what are we on our fourth life?
I'm on 4, definitely on 4, maybe 5, depends.
There was a couple nights. There was a couple frat house nights.
There's a couple there. So yeah, I had 7 embolisms. Doctor said you can't play football on blood thinners. So if you want to play, we got to put screens in your arteries, and then you don't have to go on it.
And how many years were you in by then?
7.
And you had enough. Your legs were destroyed.
Well, who had enough was my wife, and she happened to be in the room when they were talking to me about the screens. And in my head, I was like, I was in the hospital, so you might as well, right? And she looked at the doctor, and she goes, "Brandon is retired," and that was that.
That's the right call.
That's fair. Oh, 100% the right call. 100%.
I mean, but as a meathead like you and I were, I could do this.
Until I died, and I tried.
Do you think I want to cough up blood? I don't care.
Yeah, no, okay. Like I was in the hospital, just cut me open, put the screens in there, and Mary Kate was, holding our 4-month-old baby with a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, probably scrambling around the hospital someplace.
I think you called me the one time. He's like, Jackson's. I think I was at the Skeller, and you're like, Jackson's born.
Yep.
Because Connor's
born 9/11.
Yeah, I remember that one.
He turned 23 yesterday.
Jeez.
Yeah, crazy.
He's doing great at Westchester.
He's doing great. He's doing a great job. He's coming off a pretty bad broken ankle and had 14 tackles.
What game did that happen in last year?
It happened in spring ball.
Oh my Lord!
Yeah,
like how bad? Like
bad.
Like
should
Stratton?
Probably not quite that bad, but like the bones were apart. Like I know
you had to catch up on 7 million texts.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
But did you know that Scott passed?
I did hear that.
Yeah.
But yes. Yeah.
Because we had seen him when I think his Scott Stratton. We're talking about a guy who was in my class. Brandon's a class below me, but we all heard and saw that Scott Stratton's leg just shattered the one day in Haluba Hall
under just immense pressure.
Oh God! I mean, the thought and the sound of that just haunts me, man.
The sound.
Oh God! And him screaming
sound.
and that's the worst part about football. I mean, not to be Bruce, Lordy, but you see that type of stuff, man.
Well, I remember playing Rutgers and turning around looking at Jason Collins,
JC's leg,
and I was like, I almost threw up on the field. And his brother's standing right next to me, right? Aaron's right there.
Get up. Dude, it's fun, man, talking to all the old boys. So we got another minute here before we jump off, but. Dude, great to have you back in the States. I know you got a lot of stuff working with the radio stuff, the TV shows. Much like I am, we're tripping all over each other with the blue-white media stuff, and it's fun. It keeps us in the game a little bit, and keeps the wives happy where we're not like watching football constantly and talking. We can still talk about it, still keep our head in the game, and enjoy watching it. So
absolutely,
love to have you back, brother.
It's good to be home, man. And this is home. This is definitely.
Home. Are we doing this? What are we doing? I mean, what you had talked about 20 years ago when you bought the house?
Working on it.
Okay.
I'm an empty nester now.
I know. You don't need that big old house down there.
I definitely don't need that big old house.
So I remember I had lived in Brandon's house when I had moved up here, and then thank God I just got into the grad school and then just said, no Penn State sub shop. I'm just going to get my master's degree.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly right.
We're going to go to more hit commercials here, and then you guys enjoy the rest and enjoy the bye weekend, everybody. Yeah. I will be back in 10, 12 days from the beach, and then
good for you.
I'm not going up the North Sea or anything like that, just the Outer Banks, Nobes. So we'll talk to you guys this week after the weekend, Tuesday.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Habaker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Habaker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Habaker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
Get up and get going.